This video is designed for parents and students who are taking the IGCSE exams and taking A-levels. We're gonna have the video into two parts. So first part we will spend on planning ahead for the IGCSE exams and the A-levels. And the second part we will learn some important studying techniques for IGCSE subjects generally and sciences specifically. Let's start with the 3 years plan. It starts in year 9. Year 9 is meant to be the preparation year where that student finishes at least 2 or 3 subjects before they get to year 10. So year 9 is meant to be the preparation year. I ask my students to finish as many subjects as possible. I usually finish with them biology and chemistry fully. So when they get to year 10, they will have more time for enhancing their knowledge, doing more practice, and finishing this subject very early so they can do more and more solving of full exam papers before their IGCSE exam. By the end of year 10, the students should have a clear idea on what university major they are going to pursue. So for that reason, they have to decide on how many A-level subjects they're going to take. The A-levels are meant to be taken in year 11. A-levels are divided into two parts. They're divided into AS and A2. Each is 50% of the entire A-level. The number of A-level subjects depend on the university the student is going to join. Now, usually, many universities do accept AS alone without taking the A2. Some other universities with higher requirements, they would require at least full A-level. Some universities, like those in Germany, they would require 4 A-level subjects. So the students in this case, they have to go to year 12 to finish up all of these A-level subjects. In my case, with my students, I usually finish up both A-level biology and chemistry by the end of year 11. Many universities, as I said, they do accept 1 A-level and 2 A-levels. We're now going to the second part of this video. We're going to look at ways that we can study for IGCSE exams in a more effective ways. Many students put a lot of effort, but their results are often not as good as expected. Fortunately, there is a way that a student could study less and yet get better results. Over the past 20 years, I developed this studying technique which has helped thousands of students worldwide. The learning process of any IGCSE student should include these steps. First is the learning part, where the students spend time with their teacher during the lesson. Second is the time where the student revise or reinforce what they've learned during the lesson. Third is the time where the student practice classified questions. And finally is the time where the student connects the lesson with other parts of the syllabus. So learning focusing is the key. To ensure you can stay focused during the class, get 7 hours of restful sleep. Additionally, keep your devices out of reach to reduce any potential distraction. That way you can stay focused and get the most out of your classes. It is also the teacher's responsibility to keep the student focused. Most teachers are aware that there is no way for anyone to stay focused on a single task for more than 15 to 20 minutes. This is why you find many teachers change the rhythm of their class frequently, just to keep the students on task as long as possible. In my case, I tend to make the lessons more interactive by integrating experiments like the one you have here about electrolysis and involving the students in activities, quizzes, and questions. Students actually learn 10 times better if they enjoy their lesson. For those of you that can't really stay focused, I recommend using ready-made notes and highlighting, annotating, solving questions along with your teacher. As long as you're busy, there's no way that you will lose your focus. We're now moving to the next stage of the learning process. Students should spend time revising what they have learned, and that should be done as soon as possible right after the class. Now, if you revise 1 or 2 days after the class, you're more likely to retain most of the information you've learned during the lesson. On the other hand, if you delay the revision or the reinforcement time, you're very likely to lose up to 90% of what you've learned during the lesson. It has been proven that smaller periods of revision are much more effective than lengthy study session. For that reason, parents and students should organize a weekly schedule. During that weekly schedule, there should be times allocated for the classes, but there should also be time allocated for revision sessions. Try to have revision sessions for each subject separate all along the week. Many students ask this question: where should I study from? Should I use the textbook? The short answer is no. You can always use the textbook for reference, but the textbook has a lot of information that you don't really need to answer exam questions. I've seen many students using the textbook to make their own notes, which is quite a useful way of learning, but it's very time consuming. Memorizing and writing your note is an effective way of learning. You can do this without wasting a lot of time. Get good ready-made notes that are updated to the latest syllabus and stick all the information from your teacher, all of the questions and your notes there. This way you would be learning and not wasting a lot of time while making your own notes. This is the most important step in the learning process. I always ask the student to minimize the time they spend learning and spend more time practicing past papers. Don't realize that they are actually learning more while solving questions than when they are just reading and memorizing notes. No matter how much you were focused during the lesson and no matter how much you have revised, you still require practicing exam questions to reach your full potential. While practicing, you're actually memorizing and improving your understanding of the concepts, and above all, you are learning exam skills. Now, if you are to achieve any grade higher than C, you really need to practice past exam questions on a regular basis. Practicing has to be done in the right order. There are three types of questions in science. There's the multiple choice questions, there's the practical questions, and there's the written structural questions. Many students tend to start practicing paper 2, the multiple choice questions, because it takes less effort and gives you quick feedback. However, multiple choice questions tend to be the trickiest. So if you are to start here, you will lose confidence as you keep getting the wrong answer. That's why I advise my students to start with the structured questions from paper 4. This will help you to improve your understanding. Then you will go to the practical questions of paper 6. And finally, you will go to the multiple choice questions after you've built enough understanding and knowledge of this topic. The issue is that many students and sometimes even teachers leave paper 6 questions, the practical ones, until the end of the year, which is also wrong. Practical questions require special skills that you need to build slowly throughout the year. You can't learn these skills over a couple of months before the exam. That's why you should really start solving paper 6 questions from the beginning of the year. You really need to check your answers after each question. And when you're confident enough, you check your answers after the entire homework. Using mark schemes may not be very helpful, especially for biology, because sometimes the answers are written in a vague way. It's highly recommended to have written answers by a teacher. This way you will learn how to write full answers that will get you the entire marks of the question. Once you're done checking your answers, do not forget to highlight your mistakes. This will help you to avoid doing the same mistake more than once. This is the final and the highest part of the learning process. You have learned all of the topics throughout the year. You need somehow to be able to link these topics together. Many of the exam questions are designed to test your ability to write an answer where the topics are taken from different parts of the syllabus. For that reason, you really need to start solving full exam papers. By solving full exam papers, you would help you to revise the entire subject and learn the skill of writing good answers, even if these answers are taken from different parts of the syllabus. To have this ability, you really need to give yourself enough time. You really need at least 2 months solving full papers so that you can learn this skill. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any question, don't hesitate to email me these questions and I will answer you back as soon as possible.